it got weird. Talking about all things weird. What's going on, Philly? Oh God, Nick's feeling the beat. Oscar's doing a DJ scratch and sniff. I like. You love DJ sniff? DJ scratch and sniff on the ones and twos, aka Agudo Cordova. What is going on, Philly? Back for another edition. It's your boys, Drunk on Broad. I'm Rich. Nick the Daddy's there, and of course the super producer himself, Agudo Cordova, aka Oscar, aka Roll the Beautiful Bean Footage, is in the house. Tonight, we have a jammed-packed show.
Beans.
We are starting with Bush's Baked Beans. They are now our sponsor. If you want to get gassy, no, I'm just kidding, but Bush's, throw it out there. Make it happen because Ali loves baked beans, especially the beans.
R.I.P. the dog that just died like last year.
Duke. R.I.P. Duke.
R.I.P. Duke.
I'll drink to that.
Yeah, pull one up for the dead homie.
Oscar, do you have any 21 Savage references that you would like to say for that?
He lives immortal, Oscar,
He was immortal, no ops ever left behind. That was his motto, all the baked beans.
That's some deep shit.
I'm about to shed a tear.
I got two for you, Nick. Shed them. What's up, Adam? What's up, Chris? Guys, thank you for joining us. Only we could talk about Bush's Baked Beans and get away with it. So tonight we got a jam-packed show. Nick started off talking about the biggest news that we had today as Philadelphia fans.
Yeah, so you guys probably noticed by now, unless you live under a rock, that the big dog, Joel MV Beast, signed a 4-year, $196 million max contract extension. Well-deserved, I think. Yep. He earned every dollar of that. He's been ride or die for Philly. And said from the jump, he wants to win one for this city. You can tell he plays like he wants to win. So I'm happy. I mean, I should see the one difference opposed to his last contract is there's no any language in there that would get the Sixers off the hook if he has any type of, as they would put it, a catastrophic injury. So they're
attaboy, Adam.
They're trusting that he's good. I mean, it was positive that his knee didn't need surgery. I guess that's good. I did see, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, he was playing tennis with Daryl Morey, so his knee must be feeling all right.
Lateral movement, baby. Lateral movement, so it has to be intact.
That's the only real news from the Sixers. We were hoping on some other news by now, but, we'll take – listen, this is important. He's our best player, so.
I love it. I mean, if you didn't give the guy the Supermax, I feel like you're not investing in Joe. But now the team is showing, hey, this is Joe's team. So we all knew that from the beginning, so I don't think it was much of a surprise. I think, he is our MVP. He is the MV Beast. He is the guy that we have that is our glue, that is our perennial all-star. He is our dude. Big Don Juan checking in from the Outer Banks. Don Juan, what is up? Talking Joel Embiid right now. Jason Peters signed with the Bears. He's on his farewell tour. Good for him. Yo, what's up, Don? I love the signing of Joel Embiid. I don't want to take too much time talking about it because we're all in agreement. It should have happened sooner rather than later, but I'm happy they got it done. Sure. And now we just got to move Ben, and we'll figure it out. But on to happier things, we're going to talk some birds, baby. It's time for the birds. Oscar's boy, Joe Flacco, in the preseason throws a 79-yard bomb to Quez Watkins behind the line of scrimmage where Quez looks like a monster and just runs really quick down the field. Oh, Joe Flacco, QB1, Oscar? QB1?
Honestly, everybody's kind of calling me crazy, but I don't see Jalen Hurts lasting more than 2 weeks. I mean, if the Eagles want to win now, you sign Joe Flacco for a reason.
God, we are worse than Undisputed with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp right now with that comment. That is honestly pretty hilarious. Everybody's calling me crazy, but Joe Flacco, QB1.
Put it this way: how many Super Bowls has Jalen Hurts won?
It's fair.
I don't see one on his TV.
And was he a Super Bowl MVP? He wasn't. You're right, Oscar. You were.
I mean, I'm just stating facts here, guys. There's no lies.
There's no truer words have been spoken on this podcast until tonight. Thank you, Oscar. Eagles optimism. Nick, what has you optimistic for this upcoming season?
I mean, I'm the reason why we won in 2017, the reason why this team was good is because of the offensive line, right? I think that by proxy, they're going to be better just because they're healthy. Mailata being the starting left tackle, when that officially does happen, will make that line even better, right? Then also, I mean, Dillard, we already know how I feel about Dillard. I think right now, me and Oscar can go against him right now and put him on his ass because he is soft.
That's true.
So having him as a backup, fine. Trade him, fine. But Mailata is just a gargantuan human being. He's a freak. So putting him as the left tackle, this team's gonna be better off just because the line's healthy, and they're gonna, I think they're gonna surprise some people because I think the line has been overlooked because they are older. Jason Kelsey's older. Brooks is coming off injury. Lane Johnson's in his 30s now. I get it, but that's what I want to see, them healthy. I love watching the big uglies get grimy up front, put some people on their ass. I want them. They did say that they're going to run the ball more. We'll see. They're going to have to anyway because Jalen Hurts is going to have to tuck it and run it sometimes. I get that, but that's what I want to see, the offensive line. The young players, they all need to develop, and we'll eventually see if Devontae Smith plays. I want to see how he looks, but offensive line right now is what I want to see. Healthy and intact through the preseason will be very nice.
Mm-hmm. I agree. But first, I would like to Mike from whatchamacallit is going to join us.
That's so messed up, dude.
So great, Mike. I love the clip, and it just makes me laugh. And if you don't know who Mike is from the Fired Up podcast, Mike Leto, funny dude, very talented, love the podcast. But he is Clark Dukes spitting like twin if he had like a weird haircut. But he doesn't.
Pull him up from The Office, man. He's got some weird haircuts in that too.
Dude, I'm going to cry. Just how funny I think this is. But it's really not that funny compared to anybody else.
Explain himself, man. Like
oh, it's so good. All right, I got to stop sharing the screen. I just had to do that. Mike, shout out to you, buddy. Shout out to you. I'm going to go with my optimistic take. I think agree to disagree. Mike, we had to do it. My optimism surrounding your Philadelphia – see, Don agrees. Your Philadelphia Eagles is that offensive line, like you said, and the young wide receivers seem like they are taking a step forward. Jalen Reagor made a beautiful one-handed catch today. I'm on that hype train now. That was an amazing catch. Can he keep it up through the regular season, through the rest of preseason, the rest of camp? Can Quez become that number two? Can he take that leap? He was a terrible route runner last year, but apparently he's running the best routes out of everybody. Devonta Smith on the field. Can he stay healthy? Will he be out there? I do think he can. It's all to me about, can Jalen Hurts get them the ball on the outside? I don't like playing the middle of the field game, especially with our smaller wide receiving crew. Devonta's a little skinny. I understand like the whole weight issue is not really a thing, especially if you don't get caught. But I don't really want to see my guys being hung up across the middle. We have Ertz, who's outshining Dallas Goedert again in camp, because I don't think Dallas Goedert is really a true tight end one. I think he's a great complement to a good tight end. And I think Ertz gives you that reliability and that dependability. And that defense, man, that defensive line is going to be a problem. Mitch Williams looked great, dude.
Mitch Williams from the left side?
No, what's his name?
Milton.
What is it?
Milton.
Sorry. Milton Williams looked great.
Mitch Williams coming out of retirement?
No, if Mitch Williams was to come out in retirement and play defensive line, the motherfucker can, because he's all fired up every single time. Every single time. The Phillies are doing terribly. Look at Mitch Williams' Twitter, and he is definitely blaming somebody. Any word in Devonta Smith, knee sprain, still going to be out, Chris. So what you know is what we know. We are not insiders. We are just fans, and that's what we do. We comment on shit. Oscar, what's your optimism besides Joe Flacco being a quarterback 1 in 2 weeks? What's your optimism for this team?
So you want more optimism in week 1 then? No, but honestly, I mean, just kind of talking to my friends, it really is that wide receiving kind of like, I guess, preseason training camp, kind of workouts and show-offs, and it definitely is something nice to see for you guys, at least, so you're not going to be throwing to a bunch of duds that have no idea how to even catch a ball. It just gives so much more confidence to your quarterback. Bottom line.
And unfortunately, with all the injuries that you guys have sustained, being a Ravens fan,
Yeah.
you are throwing still to a bunch of duds.
That's all right. We have Lamar. He'll do his.
He will throw to himself. He will beat somebody.
Have a really good tight end.
Yeah, that's the option. Well, we're going to talk about him later in the show, Nick. We will address Mr. Mark Andrews later in the show because if you guys don't know and weren't following us on Twitter the past 2 days, I've been promoting the show. It's all things football today, guys. So we are going to be talking Eagles football, and we are going to be talking the other thing that we all love. Maybe I love more than everybody else.
Nobody loves it more than Rich Conrad.
Fantasy football, baby.
Nobody loves it.
I literally have zero clue how I don't have a job being an analyst since I do it all the time and I study it. I really don't know how. Like I'm not like a fantasy guy. I just never got in the niche. So
why don't we that's another branch off this podcast. Just saying.
Drunk on fantasy football. I could see us doing that, but we're also going to be doing a lot of that because of the Golden Mike League that we are in. Oscar,
they're ready for us to dominate.
You're going to take the last spot, Oscar, in that league. I couldn't find anybody else. So.
That's awful. I feel like my problem, like I do fantasy football with my friends, is no problem because if I win, they get so upset because I have zero knowledge.
It's very true.
I would feel bad for people who are talking about this on a podcast. Like,
they get beat by Oscar.
I got beat by Oscar, and
we drafted Thomas Rawls, bro.
They'll be like, "Who's the quarterback?" And they'll be like, "Joe Flacco," and I'll be like,
"He didn't even play this week." Oscar wins. How many mock drafts, Don? How many mock drafts? So far,
too many to count. Don't even try and count.
I can tell you.
He lost count at 150, Don.
It's about. Let me see. Let me click the app.
Because there's a couple apps you can literally do them in 5 minutes while you're taking a shit.
That's right. I use this app, the Fantasy Football Guys app. So I am on 164 mock drafts between two leagues.
I was close. I said 150.
I'm addicted, but it's something I like to do. Chris says Mullins threw 3 interceptions. Chris, it don't matter, dude. Mullins isn't ever going to see the field. And if
he's seeing the field, then we are in big trouble.
We are in a bad shape, brother. We're in bad shape. So we're not even going to focus on that. But that could be a concern for the Eagles is lack of depth behind Joe Flacco because, Jalen Hurts is going to be QB2, according to Oscar. So the lack of depth behind that Super Bowl caliber quarterback in Joe Flacco, who literally can't throw the ball down the field. That's a great signing for me.
It's a real shame the Eagles can't sign like Tom Brady or somebody of Joe Flacco's caliber to be a backup.
Fucking reincarnation of Joe Montana.
Quarterback,
you asshole.
I mean, might as well Aaron Rodgers, like just give it a shot. Just be like, can you match up? He has won Super Bowl, so
hey, I'm just happy that all reports out of camp are saying the players love Hurts. Hurts is looking like the franchise quarterback. That's fantastic because we could potentially have 3 first-round picks next year. So we can address a lot of needs. So hopefully this pans out. This is me being optimistic. I am going to start with my Eagles concerns. I am still concerned about the linebacking core. I know they look good, but I do not trust. Sean Bradley got demolished by Pat Freiermuth last week. He literally got killed. Eric Wilson.
Player, Sean Bradley, 7'4", Sean Bradley?
Yeah. I wish he was our linebacker. He just put his hands up.
Easy to knock some balls down.
I mean, that's all he'd be good at because he was a terrible basketball player. But then Jadeveon Taylor, I'm not a fan of him. I don't think he's that good. Eric Wilson's all right. Hopefully he's our shining linebacker. But I don't know, man. That linebacking core freaks me out. And I'm also still – I'm not sold on Jalen Hurts yet. I want to be sold on Jalen Hurts, but I need to see him make tough throws to the outside. That was my concern last week. So if Jalen Hurts can make the tough throws, man, we'll be all right. But if he can't, that worries me because then he's Lamar Jackson minus the real true breakaway speed.
Yeah.
So, Nick, what do you feel?
I mean, I would have to say that my concerns would be I have 2. Jalen Hurts is kind of an overall concern. I'm not even talking about him because I've been on the train since the beginning, watching him play enough. He doesn't have a true NFL arm. He doesn't. He just doesn't. He can make throws, but when you watch a game, like when you watch the Bills play or you watch the Chiefs play or you watch – I'm trying to think of some of these other guys that you watch, Deshaun Watson, all these guys, they can make throws like, Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford, all these guys can make throws every possible angle. They can make a throw 60 yards in the air and hit a dude in the hands. Jalen Hurts, I don't think he can do that. Prove me wrong. That's what I want you to do. He might not. Now, the Eagles offense, they're going to tailor that. They say you don't need a true arm like that anymore because they move the pocket so much and guys get out and run. But ultimately, you watch what Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes do. They can move the pocket.
Yeah.
And they can still make that throw 60 yards hit the other post at the opponent's 10 on a corner route at the sidelines, and they can, like, with the flick of the wrist, like Michael Vick used to do. So I want to see his arm, but I think my concerns would be, I agree with you, Rich, the linebacking core is a problem. In today's NFL, you need athletic hybrid linebackers that can cover, play the run, diagnose plays, pick the ball off, be a little bit more, be a little more alert, be able to drop in coverage, move up, we haven't had that because this regime, when I say regime, I mean the front office, just does not value that position at all for whatever reason, even though they're behind the 8 ball now, because you see these teams that are really good, like the Cowboys now, they have 3 linebackers that can do that, right?
Yeah.
The Giants have some linebackers that can do that. The Redskins, everybody on their defense balls.
That defense is scary.
They're going to ball. So, our starting Mike linebacker right now is Eric Wilson, and, they like Jannard Avery. He's okay. Singleton, I like the way he plays because he plays hard. He plays like how we would have to play because he's not overly talented or skilled. He plays hard, but is that enough? No, he's probably your worst linebacker, whether he's a depth guy or not on a really good defense. I mean, he might not even make a team. Like, if he was on the Niners, would he even make the team? Probably not. Mm-hmm. If he was on the Ravens right now, would he make the team? Probably not. Their linebackers are stacked, right? So it's like we're looking at that. I'm interested to see how the secondary plays with another player, another NFL caliber starting corner on the other side of Darius Slay. That'll be nice to see. It'll make his life a little bit easier. McLeod's supposed to come back, I believe. I think he's still on the PUP list. I have to check that. But right now, I think, I like the Anthony Harris signing just because he's shown before that he can be big time in big spots. He was a really good player on that Vikings defense.
In 2015, when they had a front 7. So,
the thing with that Vikings defense is I tell people about the Anthony Harris signing is he's playing next to a Hall of Fame safety his entire career in Harrison Smith.
Yeah.
Right. So Harrison Smith has been a top two safety in this league since he's been drafted. And then you also had decent corners, and their linebacking crew goes and gets it, and their front 7, their whole front 7 goes and gets it. So they're making his life a little easier. It's going to be interesting to see how he looks now in a new scheme. I think the scheme will dictate a lot of how these guys look. But that's my concern. Just the defense, basically, overall. They were atrocious last year.
Well, yeah. I mean, when you have Avonte Maddox as your true number 2 cornerback, I mean, they just
didn't get takeaways. It just you have to get takeaways in the NFL if you want to win games.
They have 2.
Their leading the person had the leading amount of picks on the team was 2. Yeah. And it was Marcus Epps. So he's still on the team, but hopefully he never sees the field.
Yeah.
But
that's been our problem.
I think total defense, but they had 8. I think it was 8 interceptions maybe the whole year. I had to double check that.
It's been our problem for the past few years. We don't get turnovers. I don't know if it's the defense that we play.
It was the scheme. It was the way it was taught. Jim Schwartz would just play bend but don't break.
Yeah.
That was his defensive scheme.
Yeah, you have to be a little more aggressive. Especially in between, I don't know. I'm a big in between the 40s kind of guy. Come on, go for the ball. I get it. You don't want to get burned. You have to take a chance. No reward. It kind of annoying seeing other teams get interceptions, picking us off or causing fumbles, and we really don't do much of that. I feel we never get a clean blind side, hitting the back fumble. We don't get those. Yeah. That's the last time that we got one. I mean, it's the most important one, which I'll take every day, twice on Sunday. But it's, to me, I don't understand why we don't get those same hits. I feel like we have those hits lined up, and we either miss or we hit them on the wrong side. We don't poke the ball out. I just don't know what it is. I just feel like we don't create enough turnovers, and that's what hurts. And that's why
coaching it. They said they've been coaching it, so we'll see.
What's the matter, Oscar? What's the matter? What are you saying?
I was just repeating your saying every day, twice on Sunday, and it just hit me that you mean because they play on Sundays. But what did they play on Monday?
Every day, twice on Mondays.
All right, there you go. So I was just confused at how you would say that.
Well, I'm just going to replace the day of the week. And, kids, lay off the weed.
All right.
All right, Stephen A.
All right, like chill, like
What was I saying? I forget.
Oh yeah, we were talking about Stephen A. Smith, right?
Oh, no, that's right. Stephen A. Yeah. Anyway, screw that guy. On to the next subject: fantasy football. Boys, the time is upon us. Our league is drafting next Friday. Nick will be there. Obviously, I'm going to be there. Oscar will be StreamYarding in. So this is what I want to know. What are we excited for this fantasy football season? Like, what are we excited for? Oscar, I want to know, what are you excited for?
Me personally, I'm just excited to take away every single hope anybody has of winning a game every week. Again, I can't like reiterate this too much, but I'm a terrible drafter, and I guess you could say player, because I'm the type of guy that listens to the thing that it says right next to the player, like 14.3, and if I see another player has 14.4, guess who I'm putting in that other spot? Like, there is no tactics, which is why I think I do so well as well sometimes, but
yeah,
it doesn't really pan out like that.
You legit don't have a strategy, and I think that's why you have.
That's his strategy.
Yeah. Your strategy is not to have a strategy, and you always end up beating top teams that you're not supposed to beat. Yeah. You literally had 3 guys last year who were not active on your team, did not drop them, kept them, and still almost made the playoffs. Impressive, or just dumb luck?
Both.
I'm saying impressive. Nick, what are you looking forward to this fantasy football season?
I mean, I'm just looking forward to it, man. I mean, I don't have anything in particular. I always enjoy the drafting, and I always feel like usually I feel like once you get the first draft out of the way, so like, Thursdays will be good to get it out of the way, and then I can kind of gauge where guys are thinking. The difference is in our other leagues, it's a lot of the same guys, and we've been with those guys long enough where, like, usually when Rich comes up to a pick, I can usually tell who he's going to pick. Yeah, because I know how you think. Like, I know how, but that's okay. Yeah. But then also you have to get their strategy in that where, like, all right, if Rich is behind me, I know he wants this guy. I don't want this guy, but I don't want him this round, but I know next round he's not going to come back to me. So do I take him here? Mm-hmm. That type of stuff plays into it. So that's really that's the game within the game, right? Which Oscar doesn't give a fuck about.
No.
Oscar's like,
I'm taking this guy where I want.
I like this dude. I know him. All right, bet. I'm taking him.
Yeah, and then like there's this magazine that I buy in CVS. It costs like $8.99. He's pretty spot on, like tells me.
The craziest thing is that Oscar played football his whole life and understands the game better than me and Rich do. Probably, like, if he lined up on the field, he would know what to do. But like fantasy football, he's just like, I'm out.
Yeah, I mean,
I know who this guy is. I know how much, like, he'll know, like, all right, this guy scores a lot of touchdowns. I'm going to take, like, that part of it. But like the in between stuff, like Rich is always up, like, this guy's going to be starting. They think this guy might be out 2 weeks. I'm going to pick him up. You'll be like, look, Rich will do some sneaky moves. Like, he'll wake up at 3 a.m. to take a poop. He says that, but he's really just looking. I'm going to pick this guy up.
I'm pooping because I have anxiety. I have IBS anxiety from not getting the guy on waivers. So
I don't understand how many times Rich texted me on the side. Maybe I'm not even talking about like once or twice a month. I'm talking about like once or twice a day. Like, just being like, hey, trade me this guy, and I trade you this.
Or then you'll get make sure you put this guy in your lineup, dude. You know that he's off this week. It's his bye week. And then Oscar will be like, oh, shit, I really did forget. I didn't even check.
It goes every way with Oscar. I'll text him about trades, but I'll also let him know, hey, Oscar, you need to set your fucking lineup. You're playing this guy. You have a chance to win. He goes, wait, I have a chance to win? I'm like, yeah, dude, don't give up. He goes, oh. And then he beats the 3 guys. And I'm like, well, there you go, Oscar. The Superflex League that we are going to be in, Oscar, I'm sending you the invite after the show, so you can sign up because you were the last member of it. It is going to be a game changer. We get to have 2 quarterbacks if we want to start. So Oscar will probably start Joe Flacco and somebody else.
Joe Flacco and Lamar Jackson.
That's what a super flex is, Oscar. A super flex is the flex can be any position. So quarterback.
Rich has been trying to push this to do this for a while. He's like, I really want to do a super flex league. He finally found people stupid enough to do it.
Yep, and it's happening. And the good thing about the Golden Mike League is, well, not the good thing, kind of the bad thing, but the good thing at the same time. If you come in 11th and 12th place, you are kicked out of the league next year, and you have to wait 1 year to come back in. So we replace you with fresh blood.
Rich took the Premier League model.
Yeah,
from Oscar.
Is there a Golden League number 2, like where all the relegated people?
No, you just have to sit and harp on how bad you were.
Yeah, no, there's no league. You just get kicked out, and then you get to hear about. And I fucking know it's probably going to be me. I know I'm probably going to be like one of the teams kicked out. And I'm like, well, guys, I quit the podcast and the league's folded. I folded the league.
The problem is if Rich does get kicked out of the league, he will be like, I'm not being commissioner anymore. I'm not doing this.
I'll still be commissioner because I live for that too. I actually got suckered into another league on Sunday. So that'll be number 7. So that's going to be goofy.
Is that when you were at Flying Fish?
Yes, that's when I was at Flying Fish for Josh Cossey's birthday. Shout out to Josh. Shane Burke asked me. He's like, yeah, they want to do like a Timber Birch Broadmoor league. He said Broadmoor, but I'm in Timber Birch, so I had to throw that in there. So he's like, oh, when we're going to do a Broadmoor league, you want in? I'm like, yeah, fucking right. Let's go. So it's cheap, so I'm not worried about it, but I'm very excited. My favorite thing about fantasy football, what people don't realize, me and Nick play on a softball team. So we are up early on Sundays. One of my favorite things to do is to get to softball early. It's like cold out, but it's not like freezing. We sit there, we bullshit about our lineups, and we're constantly just on.
Checking the news.
Just checking the news, making sure everything's good, setting a lineup, driving home in like that brisk air, windows down, listening to music, running in, getting a shower, and then like, boom, popping on Red Zone or putting the Eagles on. Like, that's what I live for. Like, I live for like the ritual behind it. Because I know what my Sundays entail. And it's that. And I absolutely love it. So I can't wait. It's going to be fun. But now let's talk about what players that we are avoiding. I'm going to start. I'm going to give you a quarterback, a wide receiver, a running back, and a tight end.
Oh, tight end. I don't even know what they are.
Well, we have to know what they are in other leagues. It's fucking stupid. I hate fucking tight ends. The tight end I am avoiding is Dallas Goedert. I am not taking Dallas Goedert because his ADP is like 6th round. 6th, 7th. No, thank you. I am not paying that premium for Dallas Goedert when he's going to be sharing time with Ertz. I could take Ertz in the 13th and be completely content with having Zach Ertz as my starting tight end. Wide receiver, who I am avoiding. I am avoiding Julio Jones. I think Julio is going to be good, but I also fear for his health, his longevity. They still have Derrick Henry, and they still have A.J. Brown. I think Tannehill is going to be good, but I don't think he's going to be able to sustain a high pedigree, especially with Derrick Henry. So that, I think, is going to take looks away from Julio, because once they are up, I doubt they're going to throw the ball. So you're going to see halfway through the 3rd quarter and 4th quarter, with that defense clamping down, Derrick Henry's going to be getting a lot of run, and it's just going to be a lot of control. And I think A.J. Brown's still going to feast.
You really think so? Like,
I do. I love
you make A.J. Brown better, man.
It's all it's going to do. They're going to focus. They have to pick one to beat you. So Julio has been proven to beat teams. A.J. Brown does have a problem with drops, but they're just too big and too athletic. I think they're not going to be able to stop A.J. Brown. Running back that I am totally avoiding, DeAndre Swift. I want nothing to do with the Detroit Lions running backs. Except Jamal Williams, because you can get him in like the 14th or 15th round. He has a guaranteed role. DeAndre Swift, I know they say like a lot of second-year running backs make a step up and make a leap, but I really don't think that they trust them without going out and signing Jamal Williams, and I believe they still have Adrian Peterson there. So that's going to be weird.
They have they do. I think Adrian Peterson might be a free agent. We're going to have to check on that.
All right, we'll have to look. We'll look at that. But the quarterback that I am avoiding is Joe Burrow. I want nothing to do with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is like ADP I saw in a mock draft that I did last night. Oh, sorry. I did a mock draft last night. Joe Burrow went in the 11th round. People were like, okay, it's not that high. It's not that low. But 11th round for a guy who's got to play Pittsburgh twice, the Ravens twice, and Cleveland twice, and who just came off of a total reconstructed knee surgery. They should have invested in Sewell. Jamar Chase is going to be a hell of a player, but they should have invested in an offensive line. I still don't think the Bengals do it this year. I think they're going to be exciting to watch, but I don't think they're going to be any good. So they're the players that I am avoiding. Nick, I'm going to go to you, and then I'm going to go to Oscar.
We're doing players we want to avoid, right?
We want to avoid.
Okay. Yeah, I think tight end is a good one. We can start there. I think the one player I just like Rich would do, Oscar doesn't probably think this way, but you have to base it off ADP, meaning that
average draft
person going to give you the value in that round that you would get from another player. And tight ends, like I agree with the Goddard because right now they have him as the 8th overall tight end. Like
no,
last year I think there was really only like 5 tight ends even worth rostering. Basically, it was to that point.
The gap between the first and second was like Travis Kelce to Darren Waller was like I think 30 or 40 points.
Yeah.
Then the gap from the second to the third was like 80 points, and then from third to like
it's bad.
down, it was astronomical. Like Robert Tonyan was your number, I think he was your number 2 last year, and then Darren Waller was 3, just based off of touchdowns. Or I might be getting them flip-flopped, but that's crazy. It's Travis Kelce and then no one else. But go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, tight end wise, like that makes the most sense just because the other tight ends, like after the top 10 guys, like it would have to be Goddard just because we know that if Ertz is on the roster, you can't draft Goddard in that position. If Goddard falls to like round 12, okay. Is that going to happen? No. But if it does, okay, there, because if they do end up trading once, it'll be valuable. But until that happens, they're going to – because Goddard is a different tight end than Ertz is, obviously. So I agree with the Goddard. Wide receivers, the one guy I'm going to avoid is going to be CeeDee Lamb. Oh. And the reason why is because as much as people are hyping him up, they have him going higher than Amari Cooper this year.
Yeah, they have him like the dude. Cooper. They have him ranked. Some people have him ranked. I know fantasy footballers, and I believe the fantasy football guys have him ranked 11 and 12.
No, thank you.
11th and 12th overall.
No, thank you. So like you look at comparable those guys. Like I like CeeDee Lamb, but he's on the wrong team to put up those numbers. Not saying that he can't. Like he's going to have weeks where he probably explodes. I'm sure. Yeah. But Amari Cooper is still the number 1. And Michael Gallup, he's no slouch, right? And you still have Zeke's going to probably catch 40 or 50 balls. They're going to use those tight ends sparingly. Like that's going to happen. I just don't like him because of his ADP. Now, CeeDee Lamb's there in the 4th round. Okay. It's not going to happen because he's going round 2 and 3. I've been saying, Rich.
Yeah, it's insane.
So like you're going to like, am I going to take CeeDee Lamb over Terry McLaurin? No, I'm not.
No, I'm taking the bona fide number 1.
Am I taking CeeDee Lamb over Mike Evans? No, I'm not.
No.
Am I taking him over Robert Woods? No, I'm not. But
no, I can get Robert Woods in the 5th. And
CeeDee Lamb is going to have those games where you're like, you have to gauge whether or not you want consistency. Where the guy he's going to get you 20.
Yeah.
There's going to be a week where CeeDee Lamb might have 7, and then the next week he might have 35.
Yeah,
like that's great. And you know how
are you going to win? Are you going to win that week with him only getting you 7? Say you drafted him in the 2nd round. Exactly. That's what's going to kill you. What's going to kill you is
you want to bank on the guy that's going to live in that. He's consistently in the 15 to 25 range. Like all right, his floor is 16 in a PPR league.
Yeah,
he's going to give me 6 catches. He's going to give me 80 yards. He might have a touch.
And I don't think CeeDee Lamb's going to play outside the slot. So,
he probably won't.
So that's going to hurt him.
Gallup's an outside guy too.
Yeah, and Gallup, his ADP is like 14th round. He's down there. He's like wide receiver like 53, 54. So you can get him super late in drafts. I'll take what Gallup can get.
Exactly.
I think Gallup can get you a bona fide 10 to 12 points a week. He might get you that occasional, like I'm meaning like maybe 2 or 3 times in the season, 20 plus points game.
Yeah.
But you give me Michael Gallup, who can sit on my bench until Amari Cooper gets hurt, which he always does, or something happens to CeeDee Lamb. His stock's only going to go up.
Exactly.
I'm not wasting a 3rd round pick. I'm not saying wasting, but in the 3rd round, if I can get a guy coming back to me like Joe Mixon, who's been falling,
sure,
of just that offense, if I can get Joe Mixon in the 3rd round, I'm taking Joe Mixon. He's the only workhorse back. Or I'm going to take a Mike Evans, a Chris Godwin. Give me a guy who's proven to be able to do it in a good offense that is able to sustain success with multiple wide receivers. So,
yep. That's my argument there with CeeDee. Like,
It's too
He's
high.
obviously
Second and third round is too high for CeeDee Lamb.
He's a hell of a player, but it's all going to depend on where he falls. Now, if you're in the third, like I said, if you're in the third round and like they're saying to take him and you go running back, and he's your wide receiver one, you're going to have a hard year probably because it's going to be inconsistent. I like him, but you never know. He could prove me wrong, and he might ball out, and they don't need Amari Cooper anymore. Who knows? But we know that they paid Amari Cooper is making a lot of money. So running back is always tough because every year there's a guy that we love that shits the bed, and vice versa. There's a guy we like. I don't want him because like last year I was hesitant on Derrick Henry. I'm like, they've been running this guy into the ground. When is he going to finally show the tread on the tires? But this dude's a mutant. I don't understand. I'm not going to touch him at his ADP. But I would rather take him over some other guys. The guy that I don't
want him fourth overall in our league.
I agree.
I want to move back. I want someone to trade with me. Give me a first and a second round pick. You can have Derrick Henry so I can target the player that I want, because the player that I want is going to go later in the first. But I might actually take him. Like, that's the thing. I might take this player. I'm not saying who he is because we're in the same league together. I'm targeting this guy. I want him in pretty much all the leagues I can get him in, especially if I have a later pick. I don't want Derrick Henry because 1 year it has to be, but I can't have it be me.
The year you have him. Yeah.
Last year was Christian McCaffrey. Killed me. Still made the finals or the last game because me and Nick made a great trade. I gave him Godwin and Hunt. He gave me Cook. It worked out for both sides for a little bit. Nick's team was full. He was good. My team was better. Should have beat Tasso, but my team just shit the bed. It happens. But I can't be the guy who gets burned by another top running back consecutive years in a row. So don't give me Derrick Henry. Give me the guy that I'm going to take. And if I get burned, whatever, fuck.
He's not even the guy that I'm going to avoid necessarily just because he hasn't had the injury. You know what I mean? So, like, at least he's coming in healthy and he's a workhorse. They're going to give him 300-plus carries and they run the offense through him. The guy that I'm avoiding is coming off an injury. He's going – right now he's the fifth or sixth running back going. And he might not even play the first 3 weeks, and that's Saquon. No, thank you. Not touching Saquon Barkley.
No, I don't want anything to do with it.
Why am I not touching Saquon Barkley? One, because he's coming off the injury, and they're easing him in, and he's going to – he might not play until week 4, right? And he might end up being hot late in the season and get me to the playoffs. But what if I go 0-3 those first 2 weeks because my first overall pick doesn't play, and then I'm out of it? I can't dig myself out of that hole, or you know what I mean? I get a worse matchup.
Then you can't trade Barkley because he hasn't played yet.
Exactly. So people are going to want to see him play.
Too much a risk drafting him in the top 6.
And the issue is also the Giants. They stink. I'll say that. Like, they have weapons, they have talent, but until their quarterback shows he can play, they're going to just load the box and say, "All right, Daniel Jones, you beat us. Go ahead, buddy. Yeah. I don't care who your receivers are. We don't trust you to get him the ball." Your offensive line hasn't. They've invested there, but it hasn't shown to be as good as any of the other teams in the division. So I don't want Saquon at his ADP. There's a couple other running backs that are risky. I mean, there's a couple of guys that I like in their spots. Sure, we can talk about that too, but no thank you on Barkley right now.
And quarterback.
Quarterback, sorry. Quarterback's tough. Sorry, I just read what's his name said something in our group chat for the Fantasy Football League. Quarterback's tough because I would agree with you with the Joe Burrow just because they got him. He's between 10 and 13 mostly, but I would say the guy that I would never take him because I think that he stinks personally, and that's Baker Mayfield. I'm not going to take him. Even if it's late. In the Superflex League, it's different because as long as he's not my QB1, it's great. But if you go 0 QB and you wait, and everybody gets 2 and you're stuck with him as your starter, good luck, man.
You're going to be fucked.
Because they just run the ball so much. Now, I get it. He's going to look good at times because they run the ball so much. Yeah. But I watched him enough to know that he's really not that good.
But even with Odell coming back, you're not taking him?
No, because when Odell was there last year, what did he do?
And he's still coming back from an ACL injury anyway.
I'm not worried about Odell. I'm just worried about Baker getting.
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
No, yeah, I agree.
Don't like me either. I'm just asking the questions.
I agree. But you look at his ADP, and there's a couple guys in the range where he's taken. Like, would I rather have
Fitzpatrick?
Would I rather have Baker right now he's worked like 17, 18. Would I rather have Trevor Lawrence or Baker? I'm going to take Trevor Lawrence.
Exactly.
Well, am I going to take Ben Roethlisberger or Baker? I'm going to take Ben because at least I know Ben's done it before, and he has weapons on the outside and Harris. So, it's like if you get stuck, you get stuck. Like there's worse guys that have than Baker Mayfield, but he's also one of those guys that is he ever going to pop for one of those 40-point games? Probably not.
No.
Especially in that division.
That's you're playing tough defenses.
The Ravens twice, the Steelers twice, the Bengals D is going to be better.
It's going to be tough, and you still have Nick Chubb you're going to feed. So, Oscar, give us yours. Start with your tight end and move your way up.
All right, so tight end.
You can just say any. You don't have to give us anything scientific or anything worth a damn.
None of them. All right, I'm not going to.
None of them.
Tight end. No,
I ain't drafting no tight ends.
no, honestly, I never really pay attention to tight ends. I just pick whoever's there.
That's a good idea.
But that being said, any tight end playing for any team, like let's say like the Patriots, they're using 2 tight ends, aren't they?
Okay. Hunter Henry or Jonnu Smith. I like that.
Yeah, so like I would probably just avoid any 2 tight end scheme.
So the Eagles.
So the Eagles.
Patriots.
Yeah. Patriots. Okay. I like it.
That's who I'm avoiding. Wide receiver. I was gonna say Odell, only because again he's coming off of a terrible ACL injury. That being said, he also has a terrible quarterback throwing to him.
Okay. I like it.
Running back, honestly, Michael Thomas too. He was pretty hurt last year as well.
He wants out. He's not happy right now.
Well, apparently they smoothed it over, but he still has no quarterback. So
yeah, that's true. So
anyway,
for the same reason, quarterback Michael Thomas is definitely up there.
Okay.
Unless he gets traded, or
no trade to the Eagles.
I was gonna say I don't think that's even possible.
No,
it's possible.
He got his money, and he's been hurt ever since.
The Eagles can fit him under the cap, though. It's possible.
Yeah,
he's only worth $10 million this year. They got money.
Yeah. I mean, then that doesn't
for next year. Yes,
I'm not sure how much of a cap he would hit, but
he's like a $25 million cap hit next year.
Dang.
Yeah, he got a huge extension. So all right, go ahead, running back.
And then running back, Saquon. I mean, again, another just. It's what was the last like decent running back that came back from an ACL injury? It wasn't Adrian Peterson. Like,
very true.
It's like it's so hard to do that, and the fact that the Giants
especially be as good as you were before.
Yeah, like
if not better.
Yeah, Adrian Peterson was a freak that year.
Yes.
I would hope for him to come back well. I mean, it sucks for any football player to have an injury that literally debilitates you to the point where you are no longer a star. I could never imagine that happening. So it's like how many years has he been? 5 years, 6 years?
Yeah. It's been a while.
Saquon?
Yeah.
No, Saquon's been in the league for 4.
4?
No, this is only his 3rd year, I think.
I thought this was his 4th year.
I know he's getting up there. Like, they're like 5 maybe.
I thought it was his 4th year in the league, Saquon.
Maybe.
Like this is
either way, he's at a position where you don't have the longevity in your favor either. So
that's true. So that's definitely who I'm avoiding, especially if he goes in the first round. Like, there's no way.
Yeah, I can't take Saquon in the first. It's a great grab in the second, especially if you can pair him. Say like you have 8th pick and you take Devontae Adams if he's there, and then you come back and it's like, okay, Saquon's sitting there because Nick Chubb's off the board and a few other guys. Like that's awesome because you can risk that and then spend your 3rd round pick to get another guy. That's not bad because you still have a bona fide first round pick. But I just don't see like myself being in a position to where if Saquon is staring me in the face, I can go, yeah, I'm taking this guy. Yeah. I don't think he's Christian McCaffrey. I don't think he's Dalvin Cook. I don't think he's going to last the whole season. Yeah. I don't see it. Who's your quarterback, Oscar?
Quarterback. It's also a toughie. And I'm gonna hate to say this one, but I'm definitely gonna say Jalen. No, it's fine.
So much fantasy value because he runs.
No, exactly. No. Honestly, I would honestly say Tom Brady. I just don't. I'm going at his neck right here. I'm not coming at his age. I am coming at. I don't think he could do it twice. I feel like he overextended himself last year. I don't know. I just feel like he's going to come back this year tired. He could prove us wrong. Again, He has been doing that, but just kind of the way he played throughout the playoffs and throughout the season last year, it's not normal, and he's not a normal athlete. But I don't think he's the type of athlete that survives that long, especially after pushing yourself for such a long time.
The Tom Brady fans have now entered the chat.
Yeah, so
how funny was that?
I would definitely, especially because he goes early in every single draft I ever am. And it's just like it's like dude's like
he's got good weapons around him. It makes sense. I get it. Yeah. But I understand you're talking about basically his draft position. You know, there's other guys you can have that have more upside than him. You know what you're going to get with Brady, though.
Yeah. And he's probably going to end up averaging 22 points a game this year as well. It's just you just know that's going to happen. But I would still avoid him. Lamar Jackson is better.
I like it, and you can get Lamar Jackson in the 3rd and 4th round. So now let's go to players that we love. Oscar, I want you to give us 2 players, any players that you love that you want to draft and want on your team this year. Any two.
If I could draft.
Yes.
First one is definitely Lamar Jackson, just because
dual threat.
Get
you 100 yards a game.
I think honestly, I was like kind of looking at that some week ago. But what was his lowest game ever? I think it was like 12 points, which is not terrible actually.
It's no, because I know a lot of quarterbacks who got minuses. Because I had one on my team last year, -6, so that hurts.
So yeah, that's definitely somebody that I think any team would love him. Sure, he might not give you 50 points, but sometimes he does. Like just out of nowhere.
Who else?
Then besides him, I'll probably go with I want to say Kamara just because he is amazing. But then again, the team itself, I'm still going to say him. He's still going to end up putting at least 20.
I think Kamara is going to be the focal point of that offense.
Yeah.
So I think that's good, and that's who Nick is going to draft in front of me at 3. So I am not happy. I wish somebody else was in that 3 position. So Kamara could fall to me at 4, but it's not going to happen on our draft, so I got to deal with it. Nick, give me 2 players that you would love to have on your fantasy team this year.
Listen, give me
some deep guys, Nick. Give me some deeper guys. Don't give me I'll take it from Oscar because he doesn't really draft that well. But give me some guys that you think, like, give me 2 guys that, like, all right, I want this guy. Because I think me and you might be having the same guy. So I want to see what you think.
Deep. Let's see. Let me look at my list.
Like, it's not an obvious pick. Like, I know who I would love to have. But
give me Darnell Mooney.
I do love Darnell Mooney. Been targeting him a lot. He just has the athletic ability.
I like Darnell Mooney more if Fields is a starter, obviously, because it's gonna.
Fields did not look that good in his first game,
and it's weird too because I watched some of the game and I was reading the posts on some of those pages after. I watched the game. He didn't look that. I was like, he didn't do anything special to me.
They were blowing him, and he almost on the first play, he almost got his wide receiver destroyed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What are they looking at? Oh, that was a great throw. I'm like, it was a terrible throw. They almost killed him. Okay, I like Darnell Mooney.
Especially his ADP, like where his ADP is. I mean,
13th, 14th round.
Yeah, you can't hate on that. I'm thinking
number 2 wide receiver of a team.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to think of some of the other like deep dive, like running backs tough. Trey Sermon, I like. He's probably eventually going to take that job in San Fran. I was going to say receiver. I want all the shares of Cooper Kupp I can have, baby. Unleash the Kupp, especially when he's got Matty Big Nuts Stafford, dude.
No, dude.
Stafford is going to just fucking they're the pick right now to be in the NFC Championship game against the Bucs. I've seen a lot of that.
How many years of 30-plus home runs, 30-plus touchdowns has Matthew Stafford had?
Try to think. When did he get drafted? 2009?
Yeah.
12.
12 years of 30-plus touchdowns?
That's my guess. I don't know if it's true or not.
1.
Really?
1 year of 30-plus touchdowns.
The disrespect.
Matt Ryan, how many do you think he has?
Probably 12.
2. 2 years of 30-plus touchdowns. It's crazy, right? It's crazy.
It's just because Matt, and it's what gets me is because it's not
his fault. He had that one really good year when Calvin Johnson was amazing.
No, I'm saying it's not. It's partly because of who's a quarterback. You have to have players around you. Obviously, you have to have a good system too around you. What made me think that he would have more is because basically his whole career he was playing from behind all the time because they stink. That's why I think active quarterback wise, I think he has the most fourth quarter comeback wins, like active maybe, and maybe Rodgers has more, something like that because he's a little bit older, something like that. He's up there tops, but I'm surprised by that. But now that he has a good team and a good coach, I think that he'll be able to do a little bit better.
I apologize, Nick. I apologize. It's 2 for Matthew Stafford, and he had 41 in 2011, and then he had 32 in 2015, and then that was it. Matt Ryan only has 1. I apologize.
Yeah, and it's crazy about Matt Ryan too because look at that team; they've been putting up points, and he had Julio, and then before, when they had the early years, he had Roddy White too, who was balling out.
I know.
And then he's always had 2 really good receivers. So. Speaking of that, I'll take Russell Gage this year too. Not hating on Russell Gage.
No, why wouldn't you? Like it's I like that.
Running backs, I would have to go with Trey Sermon, and then it's tough because like running back, the position really does go down, but I also like Gus Edwards too. We talked about that before, Rich.
Yeah. He was one of mine. I figure we were on the same wavelength because I'm not sold on J.K. Dobbins.
I like Dobbins. It's just
I don't like him for a 4th round pick. I'll tell you that right now.
No, I agree with you. The ADP.
You got him in a keeper, so you're in the dynasty. Yeah. That's fine. But I'm not spending a 4th round pick on a guy who doesn't catch passes in a PPR league. I'm sorry, it's not happening.
Yeah, I mean, especially because they've been shown that the Ravens they use all the running backs, and then Lamar Jackson himself will get a lot of those touchdowns inside the 10. You're like, oh, rushing touchdown, the Ravens are trying 10. You never are like, it's not like those when it was like the Vikings when they had Peterson inside the 10. Like, when they had, like when the Vikings now they're inside the 10, you're like, Dalvin Cook's going to get a touch.
Yeah.
Or the Panthers, CMC's going to get multiple touches here, multiple looks. And with the Ravens, you're like, Lamar could take every carry here. Who knows?
Yeah,
that's true.
So let me go on to my players I love this year. Going to sound weird, but I'm going to give you 2 guys who I love this year. First guy, Marvin Jones. Mr. Consistency at his finest. Averaged more points than Kenny Golladay did in his time in Detroit. Fact. And he moves to a new system. He's the veteran wide receiver in that core. Trevor Lawrence is going to need somebody to throw the ball to.
You see his ADP too? Give me that, dude.
Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying. You give me Marvin Jones and anywhere in the 13th. I think it was like between the 11th to the 13th round. I'm taking Marvin Jones and I'm plugging him in as an everyday starter.
They have a good quarterback too. So
he will be my flex play. Number 2, it's going to sound goofy as shit, but I love it. Mark Ingram for the Houston Texans. They said David Johnson is being buried on the depth chart, and Mark Ingram is listed as a co-starter with Phillip Lindsay. They're not going to score many points. They're not going to be a good team, but I think he's going to get the volume. He's going to get the work, especially at the goal line. He is going to catch you 30 balls, but he's going to get you about 4 receiving touchdowns. Then you're going to get him in the goal line. He's going to have a Jordan Howard-esque role, but he's also going to, I believe, have the first down role. Because when they run the hurry up, Mark Ingram can still catch passes. He's going to be down the goal line. I think he's going to be poised for 10 to 12 rushing touchdowns, 800 yards. Solid flex play for a guy that you can pick up and not draft.
Yeah, I was just looking, Rich. They got him. He's outside like the top 60 in most of the sheets. He's not even on some of these sheets.
No, he's not even on half these sheets. So he is a guy that I would draft like last. Oscar, I will not be upset. Nick, I will not be upset if you draft him. But it's just somebody who I've been looking at, and I'm like, okay, let me monitor how he's doing in camp. He's doing well. David Johnson's going in the 10th. Yeah, you think you're going to get a starter, but you're not getting a starter. I'm avoiding David Johnson at all costs now, especially after that, because I was targeting David Johnson. I'm like, okay, I can get a starting running back in the 10th round. Fucking awesome. He's not starting. He barely has a role in that offense, and I think it's because of the new scheme, and they just want to do something new. So they're the players I love. And the last fantasy question that I want, busts and sleepers. Give me your bust and give me your sleeper. Like your true bust and your true sleeper. My true sleeper, it was Mike Williams. I thought Mike Williams was
got hurt again. Didn't he get hurt?
He got hurt again, yeah, with the hip flexor. So It's not going to be Mike Williams. My sleeper is going to be Mark Ingram. I just said it. He's a player I love. He is definitely my sleeper. I think he's a guy who's going to get you 16 touchdowns overall. I do. And if I'm wrong, whatever. I don't care. It didn't cost you anything. It cost you a last round pick. That's for you guys. And I'm not an expert, so I don't give a fuck. My bust is not because I hate the player. It's because I don't like where he's being drafted because he's coming off the board at the 6th quarterback overall. Justin Herbert. I don't think Justin Herbert is going to have repeat success. I don't think he's going to throw over 30 touchdowns. I think it's going to be more 23 to 26. I think the yardage is going to come down because Austin Eckler is going to be fully healthy. I think they're going to give him a lot of run. I don't know if Austin Eckler actually helps with his yardage. I know Austin Eckler is going to get his. I love Austin Eckler, hell of a player. But Justin Herbert, for where he's being drafted, is the 6th quarterback overall, which is like the 5th, between the 5th and 7th round. Who would you rather take? Mahomes is going in the 2nd. You have Allen going in the 3rd. Dak going in the 4th with
You
Russell
just wait.
right
If
there.
those three are if the 4 are gone, if Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Dak, and Kyler are gone, you just wait.
My sleeper, Jalen Hurts, my big bust, Big Ben. I like it. But you know what? Big Ben's going undrafted in a lot of things, Adam. So I wouldn't exactly.
Depends on the league. It depends on the league.
Yeah, it depends on the league, Adam. It depends on the league. But I like it, Jalen Hurts. Nick, give me your one sleeper and your one bust.
My bust is going to be just because it's weird. He's dropping on the rankings, but there's going to be people that are taking him as their RB2, and I think it's going to shoot them in the foot, and that's Josh Jacobs.
Agreed. Yeah.
Because they never used him correctly, right? They never really used him correctly anyway, and now they're just going to bring in Kenyon Drake, and they're paying Kenyon Drake a good amount of money to get touches. So he's actually the running back I would want if I'm taking a Raiders running back, because
And you're getting him 4 rounds later.
he's going to be the passing down guy. I mean, if we're talking about a guy that's going to go earlier than that, I mean, I did talk about Saquon earlier a little bit, but I'm just trying to think of – I don't like any of the Steelers receivers individually.
Okay. So you're just going the Steelers receiving squad.
Well, I mean, you have Deontay Johnson's going top 20, Chase Claypool, like 4 3-round picks after, like, and then
And Juju's going
Juju Smith is still
round,
there, and he's going a couple rounds later, but they just paid him. So it's like
only 1 year.
there's 3 mouths. Yeah, there's 3 mouths they have to feed. They're going to give Harris a ton of touches because in that division you have to run the ball.
I think
you
that's
have
what
to
they were
keep the
missing
ball.
last year, Nick, and that's why those 3 wide receivers were sufficient without Big Ben, because they didn't have a running game, so they had to throw the ball.
Correct.
Najee's going to come in and take 30, 32 carries. People think he's not going to get fed. That boy is going to have about 30, 32 carries a game.
And he's gonna be a 3-down back.
Yeah, so he's going to have probably 40, 41 touches average a game.
He's gonna get
That's going to be a lot of touches.
He's going to get the Le'Veon Bell touches that Le'Veon used to get. He's going to get a ton of touches. They're going to feed him because in that division, you need to keep the ball away from Lamar, away from the Browns, because the Browns will just run the clock on you. The Ravens will run the clock on you. And the Bengals can score. They got players on offense. So the guy – and we're talking about sleepers?
Yep, give me your one sleeper.
I was just looking. Where is it at? Where'd it go? I just had him on there. What the fuck? Sleeper, the guy that's going late, but when he was on the field, he led the team in targets, and he's on a really good team, and that's Antonio Brown.
Yeah, he's going like 10th round.
He's a
more
sleeper
than
because he's where he's going. I think there's a lot of guys going ahead of him that he's going to clearly
Oh, yeah, for sure.
outproduce big time. And he's got a full year in the team. He's on a good team, and he's never going to see a number 1 corner because you have Godwin and Evans there.
Yep.
So it's like, who's covering Antonio Brown? He's not prime Antonio Brown, but he still catches everything that's thrown to him, and he still gets open. They said I'm reading stuff. They said during practice he just abuses DBs all day. He abuses their own DBs. They have good DBs.
Yeah.
So he's abusing their DBs. So I'm just like, if you get him in the 10th round, then he's your wide receiver 4 as a flex. And you're flexing him. I'm not mad about it because he's going to get those red zone looks too because Brady trusts him. That's Brady's the reason why he's in Tampa. That's his boy. He's nuts, but Brady likes him, so it doesn't matter.
and then you can come back and get Russell Gage in the 11th or 12th, and you're set.
Yeah, number
Oscar.
2 and a guy on a good team.
Oh, I know. You can't beat that. Oscar, give me your one bust and your one sleeper.
One bust. Yeah, I haven't really even thought about it that much. I'm gonna go with I know who I'm gonna go with. Somebody who I saw on TMZ, Russell Wilson.
Oh,
There's a good possibility that he doesn't perform as well.
well, I'm not mad at him if he doesn't, because they just signed the diva and like one of the worst safeties in football, Jamal Adams, to a
Blitz boy.
huge deal. Blitz
Yeah.
boy. Oh my
So
God.
if Russell Wilson sucks this year, come back to this.
Come back to this. And who is your sleeper? Who do you think is going to outperform their draft spot?
Oh, that's tough because I don't even know what round he would get drafted in. I'm gonna go with somebody that the Eagles have. I'm gonna go with Rager.
Okay, that's fair.
It's a good pick right now.
I honestly do think he's gonna have obviously a much better season than last year. But yeah, just based off last season, he's probably gonna be drafted like 12th round maybe.
Late, might not get drafted at all.
I haven't seen him drafted in any league.
Yeah,
I've seen I've seen Travis Fulgham drafted over Jalen Rager, and Jalen Rager not drafted.
Yeah.
That's what I've seen. But Oscar, that is a fantastic pick, because if he goes 50 for 705, that outperforms a lot of number 3 wide receivers in the league. So for your
Especially he's going to be getting number 2 corners this year. He's going to be, or he's going to be slot, and they're going to give him some slot touches.
He's going to have
they're going to be better, like I said, by proxy, man. Just changing it up makes them better, and he literally can't be worse than he was last year. So
agreed.
I just saw a thing that they said that in practice, Nelson Aguilar basically abused Darius Slay, beat him for a one-on-one in the red zone. It was a perfectly thrown ball, and he dropped it in the end zone.
And the high school kids and there's a high
can.
school team there, and they booed the shit out of them. I love it. I love it. And they said it was a player not to be named. That was the best part. But gentlemen, it has come time for our last segment. Final thoughts. Nick, I'll let you go first. What do you got, buddy?
Yeah, I'm just ready. Me and Rich going to the Birds game on Thursday, so we'll get some live footage there. We're going to use our eyes to see some of these guys that pop that you don't always see on the TV, right? I always like to watch. It's like when I'm watching like basketball and other sports, I like to watch the guys' body language that aren't on the field and kind of see like – because, you're going to see the guys sulking when they have a bad play. And I like to see the guys that are fired up, getting themselves fired up, but like hold themselves accountable too, like mad at themselves or want to be out on the field. I like that. So it's good to see. I'm just looking forward to getting out there, hearing everybody do the
Let's go.
And shout out to Uncle Jack, dude. He was just on Barstool Philly, dude. They had Rich's Uncle Jack do a live interview on Barstool Philly, and we didn't even get a shout out. Come on, Uncle Jack.
Nope. I'm actually going to text him. I'm going to see if he wants to come on and hang out with us, talk some Phillies. I know he will. So it'll be a good time. Uncle Jack, come on, talk some Phillies. We'll talk said guy. And just be like, Uncle Jack, you're a legend, bro. How do you feel about all this newfound?
It only took 15 years. How old is it?
It's been like 10 years. It's at least 10 years old.
No, that video was from the San Fran series. So that was 2009, dude.
Oh, shit.
When we beat San Fran we rallied back and to get to verse the Yankees and lose. But it's okay.
It was a little shot in the ass that day, I think, but it's fine.
A little bit. He was fired. There was still a game going. Steve wanted to know if there was still a game going. I'm like, that interview was fucking great. Oscar, what are your final thoughts, buddy?
Yeah. Final thoughts. No, honestly, it's just good to have Premier League football back. It's not Philly sports, but
yeah, buddy.
I finally have a reason to wake up at 7 a.m. on the weekends. So my life is resuming. I'm not depressed anymore. It's weird how when your sports aren't being played, just how shitty you feel. It's just like, damn, what do I do with my life?
Dude, it brings you down. It really does. You need the endorphins kicking through your brain, man.
Yeah, seriously, it makes you think holy crap, should I see a therapist for that? That's not normal, right?
My OT who's supervising me for my clinical is a Liverpool fan. He said hello.
Yeah, I feel bad for him.
No, I'm like, my buddy's a Manchester United fan. He goes, no, I don't have anything to say. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, and he wore his Liverpool shirt. I'm like, it's a really nice shirt. If it was Man U, and he looked at me, didn't say a word. So I knew he wanted to kill me. I knew he was mad. He grew up over there. So,
oh my God, dude! Don't even fuck around with that.
yeah, he said his one of his best friends is a Man U fan, and they don't talk about it. And then another buddy he has is Man U fan. He's like, but I bust his balls all day, and he'll bust mine. But he's like, me and my one friend have an unspoken agreement where we don't even talk about it.
I always find like one of the craziest
Green Street hooligans? Question mark?
Yeah, like the craziest thing about that was like, you know how in Philadelphia, like the fans get berated if you're not part of the visiting team.
Yeah,
Probably worse.
Or if you're not part of the home team, or you're part of the visiting team, like the fans like get at it. But like if you were to go to like North London and wear a blue shirt and a Tottenham area that wear white shirts, that's like gang shit. Like they'll literally like try to fuck you up just for wearing the wrong color. You might not. It doesn't have to even say Chelsea on the shirt. It just has to be a blue shirt, and you'd be like, "Yo, what the fuck's your problem?"
from America. I don't know any better.
Yeah, and it's nuts how it's just nuts how like those fans over there literally it's a religion. It's kind of like Philly. It's very close to what Philly fans are.
Bunch of assholes. I love it.
Yeah.
My final thoughts. I'm excited for football to be back. Our first draft is Thursday. Me and Nick will be at the game and drafting at the same time. So it's going to be awesome. Hopefully we get to see a little bit of Jalen Hurts. We get to see some guys. I want to see Rager play. I would like to see little Quez Watkins, see the defense for, a drive or two. But then, it'd be cool to see the backups come in, see what that defense looks like. It's going to be fun. I mean,
see Joey Flax, baby. Go.
Oh, yeah.
Send Oscar nothing but pictures of Joey Flax. And Oscar, my last final thought, was the cell phone gray or pink?
Oh,
We said I was distracted.
a lot on in that picture. My eyes were a diversion of different ideas.
And on that note, as we like to say to end this podcast, fuck Spike Eskin. We're out. Philly, we love you. We'll see you next time. More fantasy football, more Eagles, and hopefully we have a little more Phillies to talk about. Phillies, peace. We out.